11 Sports, and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Kickoff to Season 15 of the Simulation Football League continues in sunny South Florida as two franchises with championship pedigree enter the eye, looking to establish themselves as title contenders in Season 15. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to South Florida alongside producer Cameron Irvine, our statistician Delaney Nash, and my partner Mike Improto. I'm Tim Hackett. We're thrilled to be here with you as we kick off Season 15 of the SFL. We've been waiting for this for a while, Mikey. Let's get it going.
Yeah, buddy. We've waited 3 long months for this new season, and the Simulation Football League has finally come back to your living room. You know, Tim, I love the SFL, and once again, he never lets us down. Our commissioner, Cameron Irvine, has inspired us all. When you join this amazing league, it doesn't matter if you've been told you're not big enough. It doesn't matter if you've been told you don't have enough of what it takes. No one cares about that. Enough is enough, and the simple fact is, I can't get enough SFL action. This season's going to be incredible. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel the history that's about to be made. Are you ready to make an impact and leave your mark? SFL Nation, Season 15 continues with Queen City in Florida. I'm ready to go. Let the show begin.
Almost time to raise the curtain, Mike and Proto, two of the most decorated teams in the history of the SFL. We've had 14 seasons in this league, and these two franchises across their history have combined to win 7 of the 14 championships, and they're hoping to get on the inside track to winning another one here this afternoon. The Queen City Corsairs, reigning semi-finalists from a season ago, take on the Florida Storm, which finished 5-7. And missed the playoffs. Thanks so much for joining us. Game 3 of our Sunday quadruple header. Still 3 more games to come as we continue on the road of Season 15. Florida at home, Queen City on the road. The Storm wearing the powder blue. They will kick away. Queen City with the white tops. They will receive. Christopher Ochoa waiting for the kick from Ethan Sneed. Ball is on the tee, and we are underway from South Florida. Rookie Christopher Ochoa waits and fields inside his own 4-yard line, brings it up the middle, cuts back out to the outside, and gets to about the 27. And that's where we will see the Queen City Corsair offense, Mike and Proto, one of the best teams in the league from a season ago. Pretty good offense, fantastic defense, and they bring a lot of pieces back.
Yeah, really looking to see what this Queen City Corsairs offense is going to look like for Season 15. They lost their best player, Stephen Hacker. They moved Jet Zero from fullback to halfback. I want to see how they're going to move the ball.
A lot of pieces back, but as you say, 2 key changes. And here is Jet Zero with his first career carry as a running back, and he gets absolutely nothing. Stopped up the middle after no game by Alex Dominguez, the star defensive end.
Big Sexy, you all know who he is. He makes the first stop of the game.
And he's no stranger to making plays in the backfield. Alex Dominguez last year, 17.5 sacks, tied for second in the league, 21 tackles for loss, and the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in this league, making an impact early. First pass of the game from A.J. Caswell. Has a man on the far sideline. It's the new man, Deezer Powell. Welcome to Queen City, out across the 45-yard line and down at the 48.
That's exactly why Queen City bought Deezer Powell in to replace Hacker. Deezer Powell, he's a gold star wide receiver, and you see right there, beautiful catch and nice run to pick up extra yardage.
For Deezer Powell, coming over from New Orleans, the Pharaohs, now defunct. They're now the Louisiana Revolution. An opportunity arose here for Queen City. They needed a new number 1 receiver. Enter Deezer Powell, and he makes an immediate impact. On a fresh set of downs, Caswell out to the far sideline. It's hauled in by the tight end, James Matthew Jr., pickup of 6. Let's tell you about the Queen City offense. You just heard from A.J. Caswell, now in his 8th year in the SFL, all with Queen City. Jet Zero is the tailback after spending last year as the fullback. The wide receivers are Deezer Powell, Chris Curtis, the veteran, and the rookie Christopher Ochoa, the tight end, James Matthew Jr. And there are 4 men on this offensive line. Queen City is the only team in the SFL with 4 star offensive linemen, everybody but the center. Caswell down the right seam, that's caught for a first down. Catch made by Chris Curtis, his first of the season.
Good-looking pass by A.J. Caswell to his favorite receiver, Chris Curtis, a.k.a. the Logo.
Between him and Stephen Hacker, of course, who's now gone and joining the executive team with Fort Worth, one of the best wide receivers in the league last year, Hacker and Curtis were about as good of a 1-2 as you found in the SFL. Queen City fans are hoping that Curtis and Powell can now be that 1-2. They'll swing it out to the far side, and Jet Zero picks up 4. The offensive line, everybody but the center is a star. The guards are rookie Alex Netrower and second-year man Freddie Tubbs Jr., and the tackles are second-year man Griffin King and rookie Carson Miller. So now you've met the offense for Queen City. Inside enemy territory here on their first drive of the season. A.J. Caswell directly under center, offset I, and 2 wide receivers spread out wide. Driving deep in storm territory. Again, they'll swing it out to Zero. Tries to cut outside, and he's blown up after a short gain. A linebacker brings him down. That's Alfredo Maisonette, the inside linebacker who's getting the start today.
Yeah, good job by Caswell to keep this offense moving forward. They're trying to get Zero involved. I thought he might get a few more carries. He's caught a couple of passes. They're down to the 27. It's 3rd and 4.
Florida Storm defense was very solid last year, but the offense kind of lagged behind, hence the losing record. Over the middle on 3rd down. The pass is caught. First down inside the 20 goes Christopher Ochoa, the rookie with his first catch of his pro career.
Christopher Ochoa, congratulations, your first catch. He's out of Houston, Texas. He did a good job playing wide receiver for Annapolis. He caught 30 receptions in the minor leagues, and right there he debuts and makes his first reception in the pros.
You know what Curtis can do? He's done it for 7 years in this league. Powell has done it for 5. And so Ochoa, the one question mark on offense, I guess you could say. Nice pickup for him there. First down inside the red zone. Caswell over the middle. Pass is caught. Touchdown, Queen City. James Matthew Jr. and the Corsairs strike first.
What a great-looking drive by this Queen City Corsairs offense. A.J. Caswell, he captained them down the center of the field, and he hits his big tight end, James Matthews Jr. Queen City's on the board.
Everybody on that drive, everybody got involved, Mike. Powell with the catch, Curtis with the catch, Ochoa with the catch, Zero with a couple of catches, and Matthew caps it off with a 19-yard touchdown.
Queen City, they begin where they left off in the passing game. They were unbelievable, throwing it through the air, and they went right down the field with the exception of that first play that Dominguez stopped Zero on for the run. They threw the ball every time, and you see the result, 7-0 Queen City.
A great point. That first play went for no gain. Everything else went for positive yardage, capped off by that touchdown catch by Matthew Jr. He had 4 a year ago, and James Troll, they call him Peanuts, knocks in the PAT. So Queen City drives all the way down the field and punches it in to get things started here on the road. And so now Florida at home playing in the I. Great name for the team called the Storm. They will try to respond. From deep in his own end zone, here comes Jeff Como, the veteran who's now back on the team after a year away. He gets out to the 22 and no further. Let's introduce you to the Florida Storm offense. The quarterback, you'll see in a second, Ron Cochran, now in his 7th year in the league. Both of these teams have veteran quarterbacks. The tailback is J.W. Doyle, who spent last year as the fullback. A quartet of star wide receivers spearheaded by the all-star Optimus Klein, one of the best receivers in league history. Also Stephen Bush, Jeff Como, and E.J. Vincent. Ron Cochran will start out under center, trailing 7-0. The southpaw floats it over the middle. The pass is caught for a short gain on first down. Wait to see who made that catch. It's number 89, Jose Galliano. So, of course, we mentioned their 4-star wide receivers, and there's the one backup. He makes the first catch.
Hey, it's positive yardage. It doesn't matter who catches the ball. Cochran spreads it around. They pick up 8. Let's see what this Florida offense has at the start of season 15.
Senzo Woods, the stud-free safety, makes the tackle on defense for Queen City. 2nd down and 2. Play action, the fake to Doyle. Now another pump fake. Over the middle goes Cochran. It's dropped and then caught by Stephen Bush. I think Cochran was going for the tailback Doyle. He couldn't hold on to it, but Bush was right there to clean up the trash.
What a crazy-looking play. The pass was intended for Doyle. Great call, Tim. Bounced off of his hands as Bush was running his route coming across the middle of the field. He was alert, picked it up, and he got the first down.
Well, I guess that's now 2 straight plays where Florida's just going to take whatever they get. Here goes Doyle up the middle, and he is blown up for no gain. David Tilley, the 1-star defensive tackle for the Corsairs, stops Doyle.
David Tilley, the big man out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, stands 6'5", 305, and he nailed Doyle in the middle.
Iceman Gervin44 in the chat. I'm sorry I don't know your real name. I'm still new to the league, as you might imagine. Says first catch of the season for a non-contract player, and I've seen every game so far. I think you are right. I can't remember a non-starter with a catch, and Florida gets one on the first play of the game. Go figure. 2nd and 10 here for Cochran. He'll float it down the right sideline looking for Como, and it's knocked away incomplete. Quickly tell you about the rest of the Florida offense. The tight end is Vardan Zarkov. Fans of the minor leagues will remember him from being a really solid wide receiver at the San Jose Flight. Gets a job here as the tight end. On the offensive line, anchored by tackle Claude Luge and center Deontay Stoneville, the rookie from the Madison Lynx. We're down to 10 here, an early test for Ron Cochran and the hometown Florida Storm trailing 7-0 early on here in the first quarter. Cochran drops back over the middle, has a man, and it's knocked away incomplete. Second deflection of the series for Stenzo Woods. He was going for Stephen Bush, and Woods was up to the task.
3rd and 10, Queen City's defense knew that it was a passing situation for the Storm, and number 21, Stenzo Woods Jr. makes a nice play to step in front of that one and bat it down.
Here comes Mark out as we go along in this game. Your thoughts about this? The only star punter in the SFL. Every team only has a certain number of star players they can have, but Florida has chosen to give one of their roster spots to Agrippa, and it has worked wonders for them. He was fantastic a season ago, and a really good punt there, a net of about 4 on the return for Christopher Ochoa. Queen City strikes first on their first drive. We'll take a break. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Back to sunny South Florida, Queen City against the Florida Storm in Game 8 of 12 to start off Season 15 of the Simulation Football League. Alongside my partner, Mike Improta, our statisticians, got a handful of folks on tap to try to keep us sounding better than we are. My name's Tim Hackett. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. Here goes Jet Zero. Big game for Jet Zero off right tackle. The longest gain on the ground so far today. Zero all the way out to midfield.
What an amazing job by the offensive line. The big guys up front. I think that was Griffin King and Carson Miller. They ran right behind them, created a big hole, and Jet Zero turns the Jets on for a big yardage.
And that was definitely not a gain of 0, right? Stopped up there late by Ryan Tobin. This defensive secondary for Florida, it's just unmatched consistency. All 4 of their normal starters back there have been in the league for 5+ years. This is now 6+ for all 4 of them. That's just incredible. And Ryan Tobin, one of those veterans now in his 6th year, all of them have been with Florida. From right on midfield, A.J. Caswell drops back, floats it out to the far side to Jet Zero, tries to throw out a stiff arm, and he gets close to the line of gain. He's stopped up there by Ryan Davidson. Let's tell you about the rest of the Florida defense. We'd like to introduce you to the personnel here in the SFL. The defensive front is keyed by Alex Dominguez. We've already told you a little bit about him. And Alessandro Tomaello on the outside, Raymond Jones on the inside. The linebackers, a pair of rookies, Eric Hammer and Roland Parrott. 2nd down and 1 from just across midfield. Here goes Zero, trying to find a block on the right side, and he has nowhere to go. Decent block initially by Freddie Tubbs, but the rest of the Florida defense was there to stop him. Roland Parrott was in the area, as well as Andrew Francis. And speaking of Francis, one of the safeties on this Florida team to go along with Ryan Tobin, and the corners, Evan Carroll, Ryan Davidson, and Adam Jones, the rookie. Loss of 2 on 2nd down.
Good job by the Florida Storm defense. 3rd and 3. This will be a big stop here. If they can hold them, they'll have to punt the ball back. Big play here early in the first quarter for the Storm.
Florida brings a couple of extra guys on the line. The give is to 0, and he runs right into Big Sexy. Another TFL for the living legend. He drops 0 for a loss of 3, 4th down.
That's exactly what this Storm defense needed, Tim. No better player than Alex Dominguez. He comes up big in big-time situations, and early on here in the game, he gives his team the chance to get the ball back and get his offense back on the field.
Up and down start to the game for Jet Zero. We saw him break out that big run, and then he stopped up on the last two. The return man, Como, will let the punt from Ricky Matthews back. And what great work by Queen City on special teams on Florida inside the 2.
Great job by the special teams punter, Ricky Matthews. Puts the ball on the 2. Florida will get it back, but they're deep in their own territory.
Ron Cochran comes back out here. It was an up-and-down 6th season for the man from Yonkers, New York. Some good, some bad. He threw 31 interceptions last season. That was 6th most in the league, and weren't too many games in which Cochran didn't throw a pick. He also threw a good number of touchdowns. They'll give it to J.W. Doyle, and he picks up 2. Interesting trend here for both of these teams, Mike. Neither of these teams had star running backs a year ago. They only had star fullbacks, but both of those fullbacks moved to the halfback position this year, and now neither has a star fullback.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at your team and you end the season, Florida Storm ranked 20th, which was last in the league for rushing, only 48 yards a game. They didn't have a star halfback. They moved Doyle back there, and you can see right now it's paying dividends.
A nice gain on 2nd down for J.W. Doyle. And we know that you like fullbacks, Mike, but it's just kind of an interesting strategy, I think, to not have a starting running back. Now, look, I'm not an executive in this league. I don't really know how it works, but it seems to me that that would be an interesting choice to have a star fullback and not a star running back. But for both of these two teams, it's worked.
Well, both of these owners, Eric Barkley and Mighty Max Paul, they're incredibly intelligent. There's a reason why they hold 7 out of the 14 championships. And when they try to experiment, more times than not, it's usually working.
Florida, without a star running back, they were still able to win 3 championships in a row back in season 10, 11, and 12. There's the give to J.W. Doyle, now officially their star tailback, and he picks up the 1st down.
Good job by Doyle. He finds the hole, he gets the yardage he needs, and he keeps the drive moving forward.
Tell you about the Queen City defense as we move along here. Fresh set of downs for Ron Cochran. He'll start under center. Everybody out wide, and he'll flip it out to the near side. That pass is caught by Optimus Klein, their star wide receiver, off of the worst season of his career since his rookie year at least, and he's on the board here with a 5-yard catch.
Yeah, 74 receptions, 825 yards receiving, only 1 touchdown. I like he got 118 targets, but this year expect to see those TD numbers go up.
Only 1 touchdown is stunning for a team that passes as much as Florida does, one of the most pass-happy teams in the league a season ago. They'll pass here. Deep drop for Cochran. Has a man over the center of the field. It's caught all the way out to the 35-yard line. Goes Stephen Bush, the number 2 wide receiver for this team. Another catch.
Yeah, Stephen Bush, he was an all-star receiver last year, and you see the way he runs his routes. Very precise. Cochran waited just long enough, floated it up there for Bush to get open, and they pick up a nice gain.
With Klein struggling, at least relative to what he usually does a season ago, Stephen Bush stepped up in a big way with exactly 1,400 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns en route to an all-star selection, as you said, and as you got to see in person a year ago, Mike Prota, at the all-star game. First set of downs from the 35 for Florida. They gave us to Doyle, and he gashes up the middle for a gain of 7. I promised an intro to the Queen City defense. Let's tell you about him. The defensive line is anchored by Jeff Duffy, the reigning defensive player of the year on the outside, as well as the rookie Digger Graves. On the interior is David Tilley. The linebackers, inside linebacker Avery King, the living legend, and Ajamu Afolabi on the outside. We'll tell you about the secondary as we go along. 2nd down and 3 here for Cochran on their own side of midfield with a 7-0 deficit. Cochran, quick drop this time, fires over the middle, pass is caught. Once again, it's Stephen Bush. He beats check that. It's E.J. Minson, my apologies, out of the slot. Picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, E.J. Minson, the wide receiver last year, he played tight end. He had 44 catches for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. He moves up to the slot receiver and makes a nice catch through a tight window.
An opportunity arises for Minson. He moves out to the wide receiver spot, and that opens a tight end area for Vard and Zarkov. Here's Doyle with a catch out of the backfield. Nice lead block by the center, Deontay Stoneville. and Doyle picks up 8. Let's quickly get you to the rest of the defense. We've already heard from Stenzel Woods, the free safety, and Kappa Jones, the strong safety. Albert Begin is the other safety. The corners are Farrell Rains and Nene Ferris. We're down with 1 here in South Florida. Queen City leads at 7-0. This is the SFL on Sports and for the fans. Quarter in the books from South Florida, game 1 of 12 for these two teams. Queen City coming off of an 8-4 season in which they reached the semifinals. Florida missing the playoffs last year at 5-7, but as we've mentioned, these are two vaunted teams in the history of the SFL with 7 championships combined. And they've played a few times before over the past. J.W. Doyle gets the carry, stopped after a gain of 1 by the defensive end, Jeff Duffy.
Reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Jeff Duffy, he gets into the backfield quickly, and he takes down Doyle for a 1-yard loss.
A surprise seeing what Jeff Duffy was able to do last year, but here's a look at the series history between these two franchises. 5th meeting all time, but the first meeting as the Florida Storm. The last one came when the Storm were called the Alaska Storm, and the home team, Mike, has won 3 out of 4 as that pass intended for Bush falls incomplete, and Farrell Rains on the coverage. The home team has won 3 out of 4. Florida, the franchise, has won 3 out of 4, but Queen City won the last one.
Yeah, it seems like home field for these teams in their 4-game series has really helped, play into the victory. Let's see if that trend holds true today. We're in our 8th game in week 1. Home teams are 5-2, but this is the first time that either team has played here in Fort Lauderdale in the eye.
No man's land here, Mike. 4th down and 1 from the 35. Let's see what Mighty RX and the Florida Storm have drawn up. They've got 4 men out wide. Offset tailback is Doyle and Cochran directly under center. 5 seconds on the play clock. Queen City with a 4-man fronts, and Cochran's just going to take a timeout. What do you think about that one, Mike? Too long for a field goal, I would say.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea by Eric Barkley to try and draw the Florida Storm defense offside. But these guys are all seasoned veterans. You got Dominguez, Alessandro Tomaello, and Raymond Jones. They know what this game is all about. They weren't going to fall for that trick, at least not this early in the game.
Going back to the matchup history a little bit, we mentioned Queen City won the most recent meeting between these two teams. They didn't play in Season 14, but they played twice in Season 13. Queen City won the last meeting late on in the season, which is interesting because exactly a month prior, Florida won that game going away. So Queen City made some adjustments to pull out their first win in the series history. Punt away from Marcus Agrippa. He's fantastic in these situations, and he will pin Queen City inside their own 10 at the 8. Here's the results of the Who You Got, Mike and Proto. I've been following this closely all series, all weekend long, I should say. 55.5% of our Discord community, as you can see on the screen, picked Florida to win this matchup. This was the closest poll out of all 12 games here in Season 1. The closest. We're expecting a good game. Penalty flag flies here as Caswell will fling it out to Jet Zero. Zero tries to throw out a stiff arm, and he is blown up. Nice tackle on the outside by Evan Carroll. We'll have to check the marker.
Yeah, Cochran with the hard count. The left end, defensive end jumped off sides. That'll move the ball up 5.
And it's going to go against Alessandro Tomaello. Good call by you, Mike and Proto. The Venetian. He's the native of Venice. Not Venice, Florida. Venice, Italy. So I guess we should say Il Veneziano. Got a little bit too overzealous there, I guess, and jumps offside. Curious to see what Queen City decides to do. You look at the numbers early here for A.J. Caswell. Fantastic passer rating, 89 yards in the early touchdown. And, of course, Queen City has elected to accept the penalty and keep the down. No surprise. First down and 5 now from the 13. Here's Zero. Breaks through the initial tackle. Can't get through the second wave. Stopped up again by Maisonette and a couple of others. And he's just enough able to get to the first down.
Wow, great effort by Jet Zero. He was hit at the line. I thought they might take him down for, maybe a minimum gain, but he powered through and kept fighting, was able to pick up that first down to keep the drive going forward.
Actually, I want to correct myself. 55 is Eric Hammer. I have that wrong on my roster. So he's been making those plays, not Maisonette. Here is the other inside linebacker, though, Jimmy Menjivar. He's wearing number 51 in the powder blue. So it's he that gets the start to go along with Hammer and Parrott working the outsides. Gain of 4 for Zero. Hammer and Parrott, if you're fans of the Simulation Football minor league from the season ago, two fantastic backers in a league full of them. Mike, if you had to pick and choose two backers to build your pro team around, I should say, maybe you would have picked some other guys, but those two are about as good as it gets. Caswell has a man down the right sideline. The pass is tipped away incomplete. Nice pressure applied on the front by Deontay White. A look at him there. I think it was Davidson that got his paws on it. Check it, it's Francis, 20, not 27.
Yeah, the strong safety, Andrew Francis. He was reading Caswell's eyes the whole time. Lucky that pass didn't get picked off.
Yeah, no kidding. And these defensive backs are strangers to getting picks. We mentioned how much they've played together, which has to help. There's a look at Chris Curtis. Maybe Caswell will be looking for his veteran receiver on this one. Caswell over the middle, and the pass is caught. He's got the tight end, James Matthew Jr. A big week for the tight end continues. They move the sticks.
Great looking play. James Matthews Jr. cuts it up the middle on a little skinny post, and Caswell floats it right over the linebacker's hand, and they get it out up across the 40.
For Matthew a season ago, and he also led all tight ends with 56 receptions. We mentioned this Queen City offense was pretty good a season ago. It's been top 10 in a lot of facets. Combine that with a defense that was top 10 in a lot of facets, and you've got a top-tier team from a season ago. Caswell and company hoping to repeat some of that success. Here's the handoff to Zero. Great blocking on the outside, and Jet Zero picks up a gain of 13.
Jet Zero making a great impact early in this game. Last year, Tim, he didn't look very quick at all, but now the halfback move from fullback to halfback, Zero looks like he's done some great offseason work, improved on his quickness. Last year, he only averaged 3 yards a carry, and other than the first carry of this game, he's looked very effective.
And as you pointed out to me, that 3.0 yards per carry is one of the worst in the league, but he's a good pass-catching back as Caswell goes over the middle. I think that was the fullback. It was Todd Mack on the target, and it falls incomplete. We mentioned Queen City no longer has a star fullback, but last year when Zero was the star fullback, he was very effective through the air, 5.8 yards per catch, one of the best marks among all running back pass catchers. Now, the reward switching over to the halfback spot, and a solid game for him so far here. Second down and 10 from across midfield. Caswell under center. Takes his time. Delayed handoff. Here goes Zero. Gets one block. Puts the stiff arm against Hammer and picks up 5.
Excellent job. They ran behind number 55, the guard, Freddie Hot Tubbs, and that cleared the way for Jet Zero to pick up 5. It'll bring him 3rd and 5 from the 40.
This is the only team in the SFL with 4-star offensive linemen. A couple have 3, most have 1 or more. This is the only team with 4. Third down and 5 here for Caswell with a 7-0 lead. To the left side, the pass is hauled in. Deezer Powell was wide open. Gets around Ryan Tobin and hauls in enough for them to move the chains.
Yeah, the 6-year veteran out of San Diego, California. He was picked up in free agency out from the New Orleans Pharaohs, who are now the Louisiana Revolution. And Tim, he had an incredible year, 69 catches for over 1,000 yards, looking good on his second reception of the game.
Top 10 in the league a season ago in receiving yards and touchdowns with 8, also 15.5 yards per catch. One of the league leaders all time, actually, in total touchdowns. He's got 60 over his first 6 years in the league. That's good for 12th all time. And now we'll head to the north of the country to Queen City to try to help Caswell. And Caswell has no help there. Big Sexy's right on top of him. Drops him. It's going to be just a quarterback carry as Caswell was able to get the ball out of his hands. Still, Alex Dominguez is right there.
Wow, AJ Caswell very fortunate that his arm was coming forward. Big Alex Dominguez nailed him, and the ball drops incomplete.
An up and down season last year for AJ Caswell as well. Top of the line numbers in some categories, not so much in others, but been a solid start to this game for him here in his 8th season in the league. Over the middle, the pass is ruled a catch and then a fumble. And the Florida Storm defense has it. Evan Carroll picks it up. We'll have to check the replay on this one, Mike.
Crazy looking play. Not sure if the reception was held long enough, but the ruling on the field is that it was a fumble. If I'm Barkley, the owner of the Queen City Corsairs, I think about challenging and throwing the red flag.
Powell made the catch on a deep post over the middle. Then he was hit immediately by Andrew Francis. And then Evan Carroll picked it up. And we're not going to get a challenge, Mike. This is unbelievable. It's going to be a fumble, and Florida's going to take over at their own 10.
I'm speechless. I can't believe that they let this play go forward and it was ruled a fumble without a challenge.
I can't believe it at all. There's no way that looked right to me, but that's what's going to happen. And so J.W. Doyle on the swing pass picks up 6. Ron Cochran and company gets a fresh lease on life, if you will.
Great break that the Florida Storm caught there. Queen City's looked great on both of their possessions. Lucky that they get the fumble. Let's see what they can do and score some points maybe off of this turnover.
2nd and 4. Cochran to the near side. He's got Doyle coming out of the backfield again, and another nice grab for J.W. Doyle, stopped by the veteran Avery King after a fresh set of downs. Everyone's saying that the Cameron Irvine's saying it was ruled a fumble, but technically an interception. We're not going to get another look at the play because the ball never hit the ground. That was as bang of a play as it gets. You saw on the screen it said fumble, so that's what I was going off of.
Right.
But technically a fumble, but really more of an interception. And just look, I don't even know what to say. We've seen everything in this league.
Call it what you want. It's called a turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, Florida gets a turnover deep inside their own territory, and now they've got the ball and they're moving after 2 catches by Doyle. Now they'll go up the middle to J.W. Doyle, and he's got nowhere to go. Avery King surges through, joining John Setzer, the other defensive tackle.
Great job by Avery King and Setzer to get into the backfield. J.W. Doyle, negative yardage.
Thing I'm not sure we've ever seen before. I'm still hung up on that last turnover play. We've seen a lot of turnovers in the league this week, and something new every day here in the SFL. That's what makes it crazy, but also what makes it a lot of fun. Doyle picks up 2. It's been kind of a slow day for him, and there's John Setzer again on the tackle with Avery King in the area as well.
Yeah, Setzer doing a nice job. Good strength up against that offensive line. Doyle picks up a couple. This will bring up a passing down.
Legend, like we've said, 2nd all-time in career tackles behind only the stalwart Eddie Gage of the Arizona Scorpions, who's coming up later on tonight. 3rd down and 9 here for Cochran. Has a man on the outside. It's caught by E.J. Midson, but he's going to be stopped a yard short of the line to gain by, looks like, James Hammer, one of the backup corners. That'll work for Queen City, 4th and 1.
Yeah, good job defensively by the Queen City Corsairs. Didn't let Florida move the ball at all. And the backup cornerback, James Hammer, stops him just short of the 1st down marker. It'll bring up a punting situation for Agrippa.
Comes Marcus Agrippa, and he is, oh man, the punt was very nearly blocked. We saw that in a game earlier this week. Ochoa on the return, dodges 1 man, can't get past the 2nd one. Queen City dodges a bullet after that crazy turnover, and the Corsairs will get the ball back after this. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and for the fans. South Florida, less than 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, week 1 of season 15 of the SFL. And you can catch the SFL live every July to October and every January through April over the weekends and on Monday nights on 11 Sports for the fans and the SFL's YouTube and Twitch channels. Follow at Simulationfl on Twitter to always get the most up-to-date dates, broadcast dates, times, and matchups so you don't miss a moment of the action. A lot of action so far here in this game, Mike and Proda. That's IB lurking on the pass deflection. And we mentioned it a little bit. These were two of the most pass-happy teams in the league last year. AJ Caswell and Ron Cochran, 2 and 3 in total passing yards a season ago.
Yeah, both of these teams. Queen City was second in the SFL with 306 passing yards a game, and Florida was right behind them in third with 305. They love to pass the ball, but I think that was the reason why they switched both Jet Zero and J.W. Doyle from fullback to halfback. Both teams relied very heavily on the pass, and now they're looking to balance it out and help their quarterbacks be a bit more efficient this year with the run pass, maybe 50-50, 60-40, as opposed to 70% pass, 30% run.
Gain on second down there for Jet Zero, who's had a really solid game in his move to tailback that you just mentioned. Now 3rd down and 10 for Caswell. Over the middle, the pass is caught. First down for James Matthew. His big day continues. They needed 10. They got 10. First down.
James Matthews picking up right where he left off in season 14. He had 56 receptions last year, Tim, which led the league for tight ends.
We mentioned those 2 passing yards totals for these 2 veteran quarterbacks for these 2 teams, but the auxiliary numbers, the big difference. Caswell's auxiliary numbers, very good. Cochran's auxiliary numbers, nowhere near as good. A big reason that the 2 teams had such different records. Here's Caswell on first down. He finds Deezer Powell open for a 3-yard out.
Yeah, and if you look at it, their overall career statistics, Tim, even though Caswell has played 7 years, one more than Cochran 6, their numbers are very, very similar. A.J. Caswell career just under 22,500 yards passing, and Ron Cochran 21,500 yards passing. These are 2 quarterbacks who love to sling it.
The biggest difference between these 2 guys, besides which hand they throw the ball with, is that Caswell is liable to run at any time. Speaking of running, here goes Jet Zero on a good gain for him up the middle. Powers forward for a gain of 9 and a first down.
Jet Zero's look really good. He's averaged about 5 yards a carry, 9 carries, 46 yards. Man, this halfback looks really solid in this first game.
Just to put a bow on the point we were talking about, A.J. Caswell, as you saw in that graphic a minute ago, 5th in the league last season in yards per attempt, 6th in pass attempts and touchdowns thrown. But Cochran, 2nd most attempts, but 2nd last in yards per attempt and the 6th most interceptions thrown with 31. Fresh set of downs here for Queen City. They give it out to Jet Zero, but he's going the wrong way. Stopped up after a friendly gain of 1. Evan Carroll, the cornerback, makes the stop.
Yeah, just to add to your point, Tim, I think with the loss of MVP candidate, big-time wide receiver Stephen Hacker going over to the Fort Worth Toros, I think their intention this year, they just want to reduce their offensive turnovers from last year. They felt that it was best that they doubled down on the strategy from bringing in Jet Zero last year and bolstering the offensive line with some star players. And the switch to halfback, I think, is only going to increase productivity under that plan.
Caswell running for his life here, and he'll just lob it over to the sideline. There are plenty of guys over there, but nobody was eligible to receive the pass. We don't see a straight-up throwaway like that very much in this league. Caswell had nowhere to go.
Better than an interception.
The Aaron Rodgers way, no question about it. And Caswell with just the throwaway brings up 3rd down and 9. This Queen City offense, like we said, last year was pretty good. 11th in points per game, 10th in total yards, 2nd in pass yards, but not very good. 3rd last in rushing, hence the changes that you just outlined, Mike. On 3rd down, here's Chris Curtis with another catch. He picks up 6, but they needed 10. Stopped up there by Davidson, 4th down.
Yeah, Queen City was able to move the ball a little bit. They got it up to midfield, but the defense of the Florida Storm comes up strong again.
After that first drive where Queen City marched down the field and punched it in on the touchdown pass from Caswell to Matthew. Really good defense so far. 2-minute warning here in the first half. It remains Queen City 7, Florida no score. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and for the fans. Minutes left in the first half in a brisk game 8 of 12 of the first week. I'm sorry, game 8 of 11. I can't do math, Mike and Proto. I just can't. I've been trying, but we got 3 more games coming up this week after this one. But don't go anywhere. We're locked into a good one between Queen City and Florida. Punt away from Ricky Matthews. Fair catch called for and made by Jeff Como. Getting ahead of myself. 3 more games still to come. The nightcap here tonight on this Sunday quadruple header coming your way at 7 p.m. 6 Central. Arizona at Lone Star with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson. And then 2 more games coming your way tomorrow. It's rivalry night on Monday. First up, the battle of the Carolinas, I should say. The Skyhawks visit the Predators. That's with Colin Northrup and Ryan Caudill at 7-6 Central. And then we cap off the week with another installment of the Vice Wars rivalry with Chris Curtis and Gerald Giudice coming up at 9-8 Central on Monday. JW Doyle gets the carry. There's a look at what's ahead in week 1, and Doyle picks up 6 on first down.
Yeah, J.W. Doyle, they want to get him involved, and that's kind of his M.O., Tim. J.W. Doyle, he's a grinder, and he just keeps pounding the rock and wearing that defensive front 4 down. I won't be surprised if he busts a big one pretty soon.
He dominated his last 2 weeks of the regular season. Last year's Queen City has another man jump offside. Here goes Doyle with another big hole. The penalty doesn't matter. Doyle picks up a gain of 6 dashing around the left side.
Yeah, they'll take it. They'll pick up the first down. And R6-2 with the offsides call. Either way, the ball and the possession stays with Florida. They get a new set of downs.
Charles Walker, the other defensive tackle, the non-starter, jumping off sides. And we talked a little bit about Jet Zero already, Mike. But J.W. Doyle, I mean, his numbers are very similar. His role last year was very similar to how Queen City used Zero. But the difference is that Doyle dominated his last 2 weeks of the season. You get a look at his numbers here in his first game as the halfback. Over his last 2 games last year, 236 rushing yards, also 85 receiving yards. Better than 40% of his total yards came over his last 2 games of the season. Florida's going to run hurry up here. They have all 3 timeouts, but now 1:12 left on the first half clock, trailing 7-0. Gain of 1 on first down. Cochran to pass. He's got Doyle out of the backfield. Doyle stays in bounds, though. Nice wrap-up tackle.
Florida uses their second timeout. They want to preserve a little bit of time. If they can pick up the first down here on 3rd and 7, that'll give them an opportunity to get into the zone where they can start thinking about maybe getting their field goal kicker warmed up.
Right, my apologies. They did have only 1 timeout left. That tackle was made by Morris Gibson, one of the backups. So now 3rd down and 7. Florida is a long ways away from the end zone. Maybe this is Optimus Klein territory here. You never know. Cochran from the gun. They'll run play action on 3rd down. To the far sideline. Pass is caught. First down and a whole lot more out across midfield. Florida will use its last timeout of the half.
Great job by Ron Cochran to get the ball deep out to his wide receiver, Jose Galliano. But I don't think Galliano was paying attention to the clock. He had an opportunity to get out of bounds, and he forces Florida to use their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Kidding. He definitely should have got out of bounds. Great call by you. Optimus Klein was 88 in the powder blue. He was lined up on the far side. He ran in, drew some of the defenders to him, and that left Galliano, who's made his 2nd catch of the game already. Again, as we mentioned earlier, the only catches made by a non-roster player so far here in week 1. He makes his 2nd catch and gets Florida out to the enemy 45. No timeouts left for the Storm, 57 seconds. Cochran will go make some adjustments. All 4 star wideouts are out on the field right now. Doyle's the tailback. Cochran now under center. Against a 4-man rush down the left sideline. Risky pass, and it's intercepted. The interception bug comes back to bite Ron Cochran again. That'll stop this drive in its tracks. Nene Ferris with the interception.
Wow, the quarterback, Nene Ferris, steps in front of that one, jumps up high, and makes a critical interception to stop this drive by Florida here in the waning seconds of the first half. And boy, oh boy, that's exactly what Queen City needed.
Ferris in his rookie season last year had 2 picks. Give him 1 to start off this season. Get this. I mean, Ron Cochran in 12 starts a year ago, only in 2 of those 12 starts, he threw 0 interceptions. In every other start, he threw at least 2. He's got 1 to his tally already. Now 50 seconds left in the half and 3 timeouts for A.J. Caswell. To the near side, the pass looking for Powell is tipped away incomplete. It's been a busy day so far for Evan Carroll.
Yeah, great job by the Florida defense. Caswell trying to get his number 1 receiver involved, but tough play. He was under double coverage.
The new addition to this team already has made a big impact with a couple of catches. We've seen Chris Curtis, the holdover, make a couple of catches. Christopher Ochoa, who's the number 2 wide receiver for Annapolis, a team that made the semifinals in the minor league, make 1 or 2 catches. The big target so far has been the tight end, James Matthew Jr. 2nd and 10 from the 34. Caswell over the middle, pass is caught, first down for Deezer Powell, and a gain of 11. Queen City uses its first timeout.
Good-looking route. The short-handed Deezer Powell gets the ball upfield to the Queen City 46, and they use their first time out of the half.
Nice bullet pass here from Caswell. Had time. The protection for him has been really good so far, Mike. These 4 offensive linemen have lived up to the billing so far.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Alex Nutsy Nettrower, Griffin King, Carson Miller, and my main man, Freddie Hot Tubs. They've done an excellent job so far protecting A.J. Caswell. No sacks given up so far in the first half.
Curious to see if this is the trend the league goes towards, teams getting more and more offensive linemen. You never know. 1st and 10 from just inside of, or just outside of midfield, I should say. The pass is caught, they say, on the far sideline. Is that Curtis? Sure is. Gain of 4 outright at the midfield stripe.
Fantastic clock management by Queen City. They've only used 1 timeout. They've got the ball up to midfield. And Curtis, the reliable veteran, he's smart, he's intelligent, he knows where the sideline is. He gets out of bounce, and he preserves the 2 timeouts for Queen City.
It's a lot about Powell and the former Corsair Stephen Hacker a lot already in this game, but Chris Curtis with an excellent season a year ago as well. Top 10 in catches and receiving yards. Caswell on 2nd down. Here's Powell once again on a slant over the middle. A big gain out to the 38s.
They're going to go hurry up, Tim.
Okay, Caswell hustling right back up to the line. We know that Queen City can move if they want to. 0 is open out of the flats. Caswell gets it to 0. 0 stays in bounds. Beats Jimmy Menjivar out across the line to gain and stopped up at the 21.
Good-looking play. I really like Jet Zero. He's looking incredible. It's a nice game. That play could have gone either way, and that went for a big gain. I don't mind that he didn't get out of bounds there. He moved the ball downfield as quickly as he could. He knew he had the 2 timeouts. They burned 1 here, and they still have 1 left in their back pocket.
All the way out to the 21-yard line. So what's your call here, Mike? You got 20 seconds left until halftime. Do you have time to run it once or twice, or are you throwing the rest of the way?
I think in this situation, I'd be surprised if they ran. I know in real-life football, you'd probably look to tend to put it in the air. Let's see what happens.
We can't. It's tough to predict in the SFL, right? Caswell will throw it here off his back foot. Oh, man, there was a defender right there. Ryan Tobin was the only man within a half mile of that pass from A.J. Caswell, but he couldn't haul it in.
Caswell, the pocket collapsed. He was under pressure. I think the pass was intended for wide receiver Chris Curtis. Lucky that one didn't get picked off by Tobin.
Should have been picked off by Tobin, who had 9 takeaways a season ago, tied for 7th in the league, also 8 pass deflections, and the 6th-year man out of Omaha, Nebraska. And here's something else that's tough to predict, Mike. 15 seconds left in the half, 1 timeout left for Queen City, and they're going to send James Troll on to kick the field goal.
James Troll, he's out of Rhode Island in his 2nd season. He was 33 out of 36 last year, Tim. Both attempts and field goals made, SFL kicking records.
And he's on the board here in season 15. Peanuts knocks it through from 38, and Queen City extends the lead out to 10-0.
Very fortunate to kick that field goal. I thought Tobin had an opportunity to pick that off, but with only 11 seconds left in the half, Queen City's happy to kick the 3.
You're right. That should have been a pick and 0 points for Queen City, but they get a new lease on life. They knock in the field goal to make it 10-0. I'm surprised. I thought they had at least 1 more play to try to get it into the end zone, but maybe after that near interception, they decided, well, that's enough risk-taking for now. Let's take the sure 3 with how good Peanuts Troll has been. A nice return here for Como out to the 27. No timeouts here for Florida. How extravagant do you expect Ron Cochran to get?
Well, I've made predictions in the past when there were only a few ticks left on the clock that either team would kneel down, and then I got burned and the team went for an 80-yard bomb. I don't think they'll kneel here. I think they'll try and get aggressive. Maybe they'll throw. It'll be interesting to see. They're down 10-0. Maybe they'll just lick their wounds at halftime and come out with a new revised plan.
Put you in bad positions like that before is what you're saying. Cochran will throw it out to J.W. Doyle. Can he get out of bounds? 1 second on the clock. He does get out of bounds. That was impressive by Doyle. I'm not sure how that worked, but they stopped the clock with 1 second left.
1 second left. Maybe Cochran will throw it deep.
Helps him a little bit. Now only 67 yards from the end zone. It's a little bit too far for Hail Mary territory, even for the 7th-year vet, Ron Cochran. So let's see what they draw up. Again, they've got 4-star wide receivers and a non-starter that's made 2 catches. So Cochran now in the gun with Doyle sidecar to his right and 4 men wide. Last play before halftime. The fake the give to Doyle. Cochran now over the middle, has a man. Nice catch and a juke move made by Stephen Bush. And he'll get a nice little padding of stats, picks up about 7 or so through the air. And that takes us to halftime with Queen City on top, 10-0.
Yeah, I think Mighty Max Paul, he just wanted to play conservative, didn't want to get too crazy. 10-0, not a deep hole. The Storm still have the firepower to come back out and, make this game a little bit closer. But right now, Tim, the Queen City Corsairs defense has just been bulletproof.
Look at that first half stats coming up on your screen right now. Florida held to 155 total yards of offense, just 35 yards on the ground. We talked a little bit about the offenses for both of these two teams a year ago, Mike. The Queen City offense was really good. Both of these two defenses as a whole were top half in the league a season ago, but Queen City, and to an extent Florida, sure, but Queen City has really brought that to season 15, a comprehensive first half performance from them.
Yeah, last year, Queen City's defense was second overall in the league. They only gave up 3,900 yards. They do an excellent job with their front four. You got big Jeff Duffy up there, who was the defensive player of the year, Digger Graves and David Tilley. And man, what a job they've done to contain this Storm offense. And more impressively, the big goose egg here at the half. Who would have expected that?
Not me, that's for sure. And as you mentioned, a lot of these defensive stats for Queen City a year ago. Here's a look at the play that everybody will be talking about. Was it a fumble? Was it an interception? And as we discussed, as we heard from Cam Irvine and a bunch of folks in this chat, shout out to you guys for pointing this out to me. That ball never touched the ground. So they say fumble. It was technically an interception from Caswell. That was the interception from Cochran, his first of the season. So a couple of turnovers on either side. And here's the field goal coming from Peanuts Troll. But like we mentioned, this Queen City defense a year ago, second in points per game, second in total yards, second in pass yards, ninth in rush yards, all against, of course. The only issue, if you will, that I noticed from this team a year ago, Mike, only third last in takeaways, I should say. They only took the ball away 23 times, and they have 1 takeaway here this afternoon. That's something that's got to improve this season, you think.
Turnovers, there's certainly the difference in the game. In Queen City, they want to take advantage of that. And as you mentioned, they ranked 18th in the league, only 23 turnovers forced on defense. And to put that in perspective, the London Knights were last in the league with only 15 takeaways. They want to improve in that area for sure.
So they had a negative turnover differential because of that, which is just a surprise for as successful as they were to finish with a -4 turnover differential. Here's something you don't see very often, a touchback. As Jeff Como says, nope, I'm not taking my chances on that. We'll start with the 20.
Yeah, he wants his offense to come out, no chances. They want to play it safe. The score's only 10-0. Nothing to panic about. We still got a whole half of football here. Let your offense do the work.
So much for joining us here this afternoon, wherever you're joining us from, alongside Mikey Proda. My name's Tim Hackett. Really excited to be here with you as we get season 15 up and rolling. On first down, the first play of the second half, bullet pass over the middle, hauled in by E.J. Minson, the former tight end. He picks up 11.
E.J. Minson, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he moved from tight end to wide receiver. His best game last year, Tim, was versus Tulsa, the Desperados. He had 3 touchdowns, and that was during the Florida 4-game skid, so they want to get him involved as much as they can.
Nice, interesting little strategy here for Mighty Max Paul to move Minson over to wide receiver, bring in a new tight end. 5-star pass catchers now, as we've talked about. Here's Minson again on a quick out route. He picks up 3. One play after he picks up 11. So kind of a unusual alignment on offense for Florida. The 5-star pass catchers, including the 4-star wide receivers. Only one other team in the league has 4-star wide receivers. A couple of teams have 5-star pass catchers with 2 tight ends and 3 wide receivers, but Carolina is the only other team with 4-star wide receivers. So that's just an interesting little wrinkle for Max Paul and company. Second down and 7. They'll fake the give to Doyle. Cochran bullets it over to the near side. Pass is caught. Stephen Bush turns on the Jets and gets out across the 35-yard line out towards midfield.
Yeah, Stephen Bush, the all-star from season 14. He's entering his 6th season. He had 96 catches last year, and you can see after he catches the ball, he turns it upfield for nice yardage.
Top 10 in the league in catches and in receiving yards with exactly 1,400 a season ago and over 100 receiving yards in 8 out of the 12 games last season. It was interesting He only had one 1,000-yard season in his first 4 years in the league with the Tulsa, Oklahoma City franchise. Comes over here last year to Florida, puts up 1,400 yards. Incredible. Here's a first down play, and the catch is made once again by E.J. Minson. He's working this near sideline here in this drive.
Yeah, the Florida Storm offense has really mixed things around, Tim. When they lost Robert Merrill, who was one of their star wide receivers, to London, he's now playing running back for them. They had an opening at wide receiver. They moved Minson to the outside, and that opens up Bush more. I think he'll get over 90 catches again this year, too.
Here goes Doyle up the middle, and a huge hole for J.W. Doyle out to the 33-yard line. His solid day continues. But as you say, Mike, it's really what's fun about this league to me, and you and I got to be part of some of the festivities this offseason, but how all the dominoes fall. It's different than in some other football leagues because all of the position changes and all that stuff. So Robert Merrill was the wide receiver here for Florida. As you say, he goes over to London now to play quarterback. That leaves open 2 wide receiver spots here for Florida. They bring back Jeff Como after a season away. They move E.J. Minson from wide receiver to tight end. Now they have a tight end opening, and that allows them to draft Vardan Zarkov to fit that role. So it's just everything has a predecessor. Everything has a step that comes before it. Something has led up to this roster build for Max Paul and company. No gain on first down there for Doyle. Stopped by Duffy once again. It's just really interesting to see how the chips fall.
These teams are so competitive. They're always looking for an edge. They're trying to develop different strategies, and if they can bring in new players to enhance the plan, this is what these are the things that happen. This is what needs to be done. Everybody's looking for that advantage.
Here goes Doyle up the middle once again, and after he was stopped for no gain on first down, a big celebration after a pickup of 7 on second down.
Good job by Doyle. He keeps grinding.
Last year, 550 total rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Both of them were career lows after a better first year. After a better first year with Florida and 3 solid years prior to that. After, as we said, he dominated his last 2 weeks of the regular season, and now he's the de facto tailback. Here's Minson once again. They keep running this 5-yard out, Mike, and it's worked. Another first down for E.J.
E.J. Minson, 6 targets, 6 catches. If they can keep moving the ball effectively and gaining first downs, this will give them the opportunity to close this 10-0 gap.
A slow day brewing for Optimus Klein. 1 catch early for 5 total yards, according to our trio of statisticians, and maybe another slow season brewing for him if this keeps up. We know that he doesn't want that. One of the living legends in the SFL, one of the best wide receivers of all time. Over the middle, the pass is tipped, dropped, and picked off by Queen City. Oh, this is crazy. That falls into the hands of Albert Begins, second pick of the game for Ron Cochran.
Unbelievable. I thought the pass looked really, really solid. It was a bullet. It went right off the hands of Jeff Como, and Big Al Begin picks off his first pass of the season.
That was crazy. Kappa Jones helps break it loose and Begin takes it away. Queen City will get the ball and we come back. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Nothing is easy here in the SFL after another crazy interception. Queen City takes over 1st and 10 from the 11, and A.J. Caswell will swing it out to the far side, to Jet Zero, and he picks up 2. Mike and Proto, this is a matchup of 2 of the best pass rushers in this league. Jeff Duffy for Queen City and Alex Dominguez on the other side.
Yeah, two of the best defensive players that the SFL has ever seen. As we've mentioned, Jeff Duffy, he's coming off his best year of his career. He was the defensive player of the year. He led the SFL in sacks, led the XFL in total tackles for losses. But when we look at the other side of the ball, the Florida Storm legend, Big Sexy Dominguez. I don't think there's ever been a player better than him, especially on that 3-year run when he won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, season 10, 11, and 12. He was unbelievable.
Ever, perhaps the best defensive player. I'll let you have more on that in a second. And the reason for that stoppage briefly was that Jet Zero went down injured after that last play. Sorry to gloss over it. Evan Carroll with another hit. And so now Travis Dolworth, the backup running back, the non-starter, is in to get the bulk of the carries, at least for now, for Queen City. He picks up 2, stopped by Francis.
Great job by Francis. Only let Zero pick up 4. 3rd and 6.
Perhaps here for Queen City. How does this affect the game plan? Caswell deep down the middle, tipped up and incomplete. He was looking for Matthews streaking down the right seam. Ryan Tobin gets his hands on it and knocks it away.
Wow, if that pass had just gotten over the fingertips of Tobin, he was gone. But a nice play to reach up there and knock that down. It'll bring up 4th and 6, and hopefully Florida will have a chance to get the ball back.
If you're new to the SFL, injuries are not things that happen very often, but we've seen a couple of them over the first 7+ games here in week 1 of the SFL, and Jet Zero has gone down. All the best to him. We'll get you an injury update on him as soon as we can. Here's the punt from Ricky Matthews and a short return for Jeff Como. Good field position coming up here for Florida, trailing 10-0 at home. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Stick with us. Let's flash back to week 2 of last season of SFL action, a game that you know well, Mike and Proda. Let's take a quick look at just how dominant Jeff Duffy was a season ago. 5.5 sacks for Queen City in week 2 against your Chicago Wildcats.
Yeah, what a performance from Jeff the Destroyer Duffy. This guy was absolutely ferocious last year. Week 2, the second game of my career up in snowy Buffalo. I could barely get out of my stance. By the time the ball was snapped, my head was spinning. Before I knew what was happening, Duffy was throwing E.T. King on the turf. Second game of my career as a fullback. Duffy gave me whiplash that night, Tim. Unbelievable performance by the Destroyer Duffy, the defensive player of the year. He had 24.5 sacks to lead the league.
I'm sorry, you got an up-close and personal look at just how good Jeff Duffy was. And interestingly enough, that was week 2, like we said, 5.5 sacks in that game. That came after a 0-sack performance in week 1 from Jeff Duffy. The first and last opponent that Queen City played last year was Sioux Falls. Duffy had 0 sacks in those 2 games. In the other 10, he had 24.5. Now Florida back on the ball. Over the middle, the pass from Cochran is hauled in. Nice catch by E.J. Minson, who's been dominant after the halftime break.
7 targets, 7 receptions. He's been very reliable.
A big gain for Minson. As we mentioned, just about everybody else has gotten the work in. We haven't seen any targets for Vard and Zarkov, who is a really good wide receiver in the minor league. Good stop there by Stenzo Woods, who always seems to be around the ball for this Queen City defense. But more on Jeff Duffy. All-star last season, no surprise. Defensive player of the year, no surprise. And 66 sacks, 92 tackles for loss in his career. Just one of the best in the biz going up against Another one of the best, Alex Dominguez on the other side for Florida. Fresh set of downs from the 39, and a nice pickup on first down there, a gain of 5 for J.W. Doyle.
It's positive yardage. That's what Florida is looking to do. They dump it off to Doyle, and he picks up 5.
Doyle working through the air again. Jet 0 left injured on the last possession prior to that punt. So we'll get you an update on him as soon as we can. But it's been a really solid game so far here for Doyle, and to an extent for 0 as well, as both of them are taking over the halfback duties for their respective teams. Less than 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Queen City still up 10-0. A pass over the middle once again is caught by E.J. Midson. It's either these mid slants, Mike, or these near side 5-yard out routes. He's been fantastic. A perfect game so far.
E.J. Minson, he moves over to wide receiver. And boy, if he keeps this up, he's going to lead the league in receptions. What great chemistry Cochran and Minson have developed so far early in game number 1.
As you mentioned, last year he was great as a tight end, 500 yards and 8 touchdowns, en route to all-star status, a game that you saw in person with Cam Irvine. There's a look at Jeff Duffy, the dominant defensive end. Decent day for him. Haven't seen him get too involved. Neither pass rush has been there so far. Here goes Doyle, gashes up the middle. Nice gain for Doyle. Lowers the shoulder, continues to fight, and gets down to the 3-yard line, stopped inches away from the line of scrimmage, or the line to gain.
Great job by Doyle. Easily his best run of the game, and he's got the Florida Storm right on the goal line.
In on the stop. Florida 3 yards away. They've been shut out at home so far, and this good offense from a season ago has yet to truly get going. Second down and inches from the 3. Cochran under center with trips out to the right. Delayed handoff. Here's Doyle. Tries to cut back outside. He's got nowhere to go. The veteran Avery King leads the way, and he's stopped up along with Farrell Rains, a loss of 1.
That play initially was called as a halfback dive up the middle right behind the center, but big sexy Dominguez, he closed that up fast. Doyle tried to move it to the outside, and there was nothing there.
Avery King has been in this league since season 7, the summer of 2016, and another TFL for the ageless wonder. Third down and 1 from the 4. Fake handoff this time. Cochran has a man. One-handed catch is made by Optimus Klein. Or check that, it's Galliano once again. He reached out his right arm to haul it in, but they say that he's going to be short of the goal line. It is enough to move the sticks, however, and Florida will now have first and goal from the 2.
Incredible one-handed grab by Galliano. I had thought when he caught the ball it might have crossed the plane, but R62 says no, but it'll bring up first down, and that's the positive sign for Florida. They've got 4 cracks at this from the 1.
Looked like it to me. First and goal now from the 2. They give us to Doyle, and he's got nowhere to go once again. Maybe a gain of a half yard. King is there as well as David Tilley.
David Tilley, he comes over from Tulsa. He played 10 games for them and had 11 tackles for losses. That's his first of the season.
Chat going crazy. They thought that was a touchdown for Jose Galliano. We did too, but no dice at least yet for Florida. Second and goal from the 1. Trips now to the left for the southpaw Ron Cochran. Again, the fake to Doyle. Cochran under pressure, and he goes down. Good time for a sack for Queen City. As that Tilley again, you better believe it. Back-to-back big plays for the defensive tackle. Third down.
The big man from Alabama does it once again. 2 consecutive plays, and he's really stood up on this defense real tall. He's at 6'5", Tim.
People in Tuscaloosa know a thing or two about football, huh? And that's a loss of 5 for David Tilley. And that makes this third down conversion a lot harder for Florida. They were not very good at third downs last year, and now they've got to go about 7 yards to get it into the end zone. 3rd and 7 here for Cochran. Look out towards J.W. Doyle. Only one man to beat, and he will not beat him. Stenzo Woods with a one-on-one open field tackle. They keep Florida out of the end zone once again. 4th down.
Incredible open field tackle to keep Doyle out of the end zone. It's going to force a field goal from Florida. The Storm will be happy to get on the board, but I think they needed 6 here, Tim.
Got to kick it here, though, right? With 3 minutes to go in the third, no points on the board. You got to kick it, right?
Absolutely. Third quarter, 2.5 minutes. There's a lot of game left. Still have the fourth quarter. The 3 points just to get on the board. This is absolutely what they had to do.
Here comes the lefty, Ethan Snead. It's a chip shot, and he knocks it through from 19 yards out. The man from Newport News, Virginia, was perfect in his rookie season, and he's on the board here in his sophomore campaign. All that time for Florida to get down the field, but they were able to do so, and they cap it off with a 19-yard field goal from Ethan Snead.
Points on the board. It results in cutting this deficit to 1 touchdown. Florida will take it. They're feeling good about themselves. Now their defense has to come out. And I apologize. I had said Dominguez was on the Queen City defense earlier. I was talking about Jeff Duffy. I need to get my notes straight here, Tim. Duffy's on Queen City. Dominguez is on the Florida Storm.
Look, it's week one for all of us. If I had said I had a perfect game, you would laugh at me because that is just absolutely not true. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, you might be wondering what the heck you're watching. Well, we'll tell you. You're watching the first controllerless esport league where strategy and AI, instead of thumbs, determines outcome. Teams submit game plans prior to the simulation, and the results play out live in real time with hundreds of viewers turns players, scouts, coaches, and team owners on the field to create an all-new kind of virtual reality. On first down, Caswell's pass is caught by Deezer Powell for a gain of 5. If you want to get involved, you can visit www.simulationfl.net for more information.
Nice job by Deezer Powell to reach out with one hand going out of bounds. He's got 7 catches for 94 yards. Tim, I think this is the quietest 7-reception, 94-yard game I've ever witnessed.
I think you might be right. We've seen a lot of dominant wide receiver performances in this week one so far. It's been a good day so far for Deezer Powell. And here's a carry for Travis Dulworth, the non-starter backup. And if you're new to the game, you're just joining us, wondering why Dulworth is even getting a handle. You just saw a second ago on the graphic, Jet Zero out for the game with knee tendonitis, I believe I read, and suffered after that collision on the last Queen City drive before the Florida field goal. So Zero is out for the game. All the best to him going forward. 3rd down and 4 here for Caswell. Has a man on the near side. It's caught once again by James Matthew. His big day continues. Adam Jones hauls him down. The rookie from San Jose brings him down from behind, but another first down catch for the tight end.
In the earlier game, the Chicago Wildcats and Mexico City Aztecs, both tight ends really balled out, and the trend continues. Matthews and the tight end for Florida, both of these guys, or the wide receiver changed tight end to wide receiver, E.J. Minson, both of these guys having great games.
And the former tight end, no doubt, E.J. Minson is having a great game. He's kind of running a tight end style route tree, right? Over the middle passes, quick outs, things like that. But yeah, you're right. And on the other side, Matthew's been fantastic. Here goes Dulworth, breaks a tackle and gets near the line to gain. Travis Dulworth out of nowhere.
Good job by Travis Dulworth. Didn't expect that he was going to get much play today. Unfortunate that Jet Zero went out. He was having a nice game, 10 carries for 56 yards. But Dulworth runs behind that big offensive line, and it's 2nd and inches.
To pull back the curtain too much, but it'll be good to see Jet Zero back out there next week. That's how this league works, and it's the right choice. It's good to see Jet Zero not have to deal with any long-term effects from his injuries. We want to see him back out there as soon as possible. Nice stop on the backup, Dulworth, by another backup, Jimmy Menjivar, who's been really busy. The middle linebacker here for Florida. He's been all over the place.
Tough spot. I thought Dulworth might have gained the first down, but Menjivar comes up, and now it's 3rd and inches.
2 outside backers, Eric Hammer and Roland Parrott, know a thing or two about making tackles, but it's been Menjivar getting a lot of the work in so far here. 3rd down and inches. The give is to Dulworth. Nice pull block on the outside, and Dulworth gets the job done that time. Griffin King helps pave the way. Hammer brings him down, but Dulworth moves the chains.
Excellent job once again by that offensive line. Griffin King and Carson Miller. Dulworth would stop the first time, not the second time, and they get a new set of downs.
It's another interesting thing about this offensive line. 2-star guards, 2-star tackles. It's balanced all the way throughout. One more quarter to play here in week 1 of the SFL. Queen City on top 10-3. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and For the Fans. quarter left to play here in sunny South Florida alongside my partner, Mike Caproda. My name's Tim Hackett. Thanks so much for joining us as we get going here in quarter number 4. Queen City on top in a one-score game. 3 wides to the left for A.J. Caswell. Instead, he'll hit his tight end, James Matthew Jr. Another catch for the TE. Gave him 7.
Yeah, nice looking play. They pick up 7 yards. That's Matthew's 6th reception for 53 yards on the day.
So the question mark coming into this season, Mike and Proda, you have one of the best wide receivers in the league, Stephen Hacker. If you're Queen City a season ago, a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year, he's gone, and you need a replacement. It's a good thing you've got another one of the best wide receivers available on the free agent market. Here goes Travis Dulworth. Nice carry for him off right guard. So out goes Stephen Hacker. In comes Deezer Powell, and here's a look at what they did last season.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the fantastic job Queen City did in free agency. You look at Stephen Hacker's gaudy numbers and those crazy touchdowns, where Deezer Powell is more than serviceable. He had his worst season of his career, and look at those numbers. 8 touchdowns. He had 15 yards per reception, over 1,000 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if those TD numbers and reception numbers go up this year with Caswell.
Goes Dulworth up the left guard this time for a gain of 3. And just to drive the point home about Hacker, last season, first in the league in receiving yards, second in total touchdowns with 14, and 5th in receptions. We mentioned Chris Curtis, top 10 in both catches and yards. Deezer Powell, top 10 in both yards and touchdowns. So you have to replace somebody, and now you've got Chris Ochoa coming in to be a number 3 to try to help round out this unit for Queen City. And again, needing to replace a guy like Hacker, Deezer Powell is not a bad replacement by any stretch. And there's another tackle for loss as Eric Hammer makes his presence felt, stopping Dulworth for a loss of 3.
Eric Hammer, the 9th pick of the first round out of the Annapolis Navigators. He was half of the demo squad with Jeff Gagne, who plays for the London Knights. What an incredible job he did in the minor leagues. Eric Hammer, 81 total tackles.
Over the middle on 3rd down. It's caught, first down. Is that Matthew again? No, it's one of the backups, Jones Branch. And now both teams have had a backup wide receiver get involved, Mike and Proda. This is unbelievable.
Caswell, he's starting to feel himself here in the 3rd quarter. He's trying to get everybody involved, and this is putting Queen City on the Florida 12. Critical possession here for both teams.
Going back to Hammer really quick. 1st round pick, 9th overall, and then Parrott, 2nd round pick, 27th overall, as Florida tried to rebuild their linebacker core. They picked 2 really good ones based on minor league performance. Caswell over the middle, passes tipped again, and it falls incomplete. That was a risky throw from A.J. Caswell. Francis was the first man to get his 2 paws on it, and Hammer was there as well.
Andrew Francis, the 7-year man out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. He's been all over the field today, and he's had a really nice afternoon to this point of the game.
Had the team in tackles a season ago, also had 7 pass breakups and 3 interceptions. Tackling machine a season ago. 2nd down and 10, they'll give it to Dulworth, and he's thrown down for no gain. Raymond Jones, the former Wildcat, in on the stop.
Raymond Bone Crusher Jones, he's a good friend of mine out of Lexington, North Carolina. He gets in the backfield, and it's a 1-yard loss for Dulworth.
I was going to say, it's a guy that you got to know a little bit over last year. He's got a pretty cool story and good stats as well. Top 10 among defensive tackles a season ago in both sacks and TFLs.
Great guy. Love Raymond Jones.
Here's Caswell deep over the middle of the field. Has a man, but it's picked off. Another turnover, and this time it's Ryan Davidson. After a 5-interception season a year ago, he gets underneath that route going for Chris Curtis, and he takes it away. Florida weathers the storm.
Wow, A.J. Caswell tried to get aggressive, and he's denied by Davidson.
First galore here in South Florida, and Florida's got a chance to tie when we come back. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and for the fans. Welcome back to the SFL. First down and 10 for the 20 after the second takeaway by this Florida defense through the air. Over the middle, the pass is caught. There's Stephen Bush on an yard. Check that. It's Como, 13, not 11. Jeff Como getting involved in the offense with a gain of 11.
By Como, believe it or not, their top receiver. That's his first catch of the day.
And Klein has been quiet. Como has been quiet. Bush has been off and on. Minson has been the ever-present. Zarkov has no catches, the tight end. Jose Galliano has been their most consistent wide receiver outside of E.J. Minson. It's just crazy how this league works sometimes. 7.5 to go. 7-point deficit for Florida. Doyle runs up the middle, and he runs right into the bear hug of Avery King, the living legend, with another tackle.
Avery King, he never lets up. He led the team with 106 tackles last season, Tim. He's been fantastic.
Coming into today, Mike, he has 49 tackles from 1,000 in his career. And like we said, second all-time in total tackles in SFL history. Here goes Doyle again, and he picks up a gain of 1, hit from behind by John Setzer.
Yeah, Avery King, can't say enough about him. What a force to be reckoned with. Last year, it was week 1 against the Sioux Falls Sparrows, who went to the championship. He had 22 tackles in that contest.
That's unbelievable. And en route to season where he finished with 8.5 tackles per game and also 14 passes deflected. That's third best among all defensive players. 3rd down and 8. Cochran fakes, and now he'll go over the middle. That's caught. Is that Galliano again? Unbelievable. Jose Galliano has been tremendous in this game.
Yeah, Florida, they're struggling to move the ball all day long. Galliano has been that consistent player. Cochran finds him over the middle, and they're almost up to about midfield.
Smoked Jack Thomas, the backup safety, over the middle. And Galliano, that's what, 6-7 catches for him now? Close to being their leading receiver. This is unbelievable. Now 3 wides out to the right for Ron Cochran. Fresh set of downs from their own 46. 6:05 to go in the fourth quarter, down by 7. They'll fling it out to J.W. Doyle, has one man to beat, and he cannot do so. Great open field tackle once again. Queen City has been excellent in these types of situations. That's James Hammer, the backup corner.
James Hammer, he's got 2 tackles on the day, both on Doyle, and that was a big stop. If Doyle was able to get back Hammer, I think that could have gone for big yardage.
Ironically enough, Mike, we've been talking about the sack prowess of both of these two teams, and specifically Duffy and Dominguez. That has not come into play at all so far in this game. I think we're looking at 1 sack combined by these two defenses. Cochran over the middle, has a man once again. First down out across the 40. Jose Galliano. This is unbelievable, Mike and Proda. The backup wide receiver on a team with 4 stars. He's made another catch.
Jose, go to Galliano. Keep moving the chains.
Why not? Why wouldn't you go to him at this point? This is absolutely unbelievable. It's just not something that we expected in this game, but as we've said, you have to expect the unexpected here in the SFL. Cochran down the left seam, and that pass is tipped away and complete. There's Optimus Klein. He was the intended target first time in a while, and good defense by a triple team there from Queen City.
Corsair defensive secondary has done a great job on Optimus Klein. Cochran's trying to get the big man involved, but their defensive secondary, as I mentioned, led by Albert Begin and Kappa Jones, knocked that one away.
It was Begin on the coverage that time. He was great in his debut with the team last season. Only played in the final 6 games of the season for Queen City, but was great. Here's 2nd and 10. They'll give to Doyle. Doyle cuts back after he goes inside, and he gets 2 yards. Stopped up once again by Avery King, who, for the 2nd straight year, Mike, is having a really good week 1.
Avery, the tackle king, that's going to be his nickname if he keeps playing like this. They've really made it tough on Doyle. 19 carries for 53 yards, only 2.8 a carry.
It's been a tough day for J.W. Doyle and for Jet Zero as well, who left injured in the 3rd quarter. Here's Cochran, has a man wide open down the left sideline. It's caught. First down, E.J. Minson once again out to the 25-yard line as you see his 9th catch of the ball game.
It's been a great day for E.J. Minson. He keeps coming up big. He gets him down to about the 17-yard line. Florida picks up the 25-yard line, and Florida picks up the first down. They're looking to get it in the end zone and tie up this ball game.
3 more games coming your way tonight and tomorrow as we continue Simulation Football League action week 1 coming up at the top of the hour, 7-6 Central. Arizona at Lone Star with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson. Don't want to miss that one. Florida in striking distance here, down by just 7. Here's Doyle again, and he once again runs right into Avery King. How many times have we seen that on this drive alone, Mike? Up the middle, gain of 2. King is there to stop Doyle.
Avery King's going to have J.W. Doyle over for dinner. They've been meeting so much. He comes up with his 6th tackle of the game, and he buries Doyle for a 2-yard gain.
45 is going to be plastered over the 44 on Avery King's jersey as the ink starts to wear off onto the white jerseys of Queen City. Here goes Doyle again, and he stopped again after a gain of 1. This time he runs into the defensive tackle, John Setzer, who's been a busy man.
John Setzer, he's played a heck of a game today, comes up big, only lets Doyle gain a yard. This is going to be 3rd and 7. I'd like to see Florida go to the air. Let's see what happens here.
When Queen City comes out defensively, they only have 3-star defensive linemen and 2-star linebackers. They will stack the line a little bit here and bring out 5 defensive, make it 6 defensive backs. Cochran now to throw on 3rd and 7, and he goes down. Just the 2nd sack today by Queen City. And guess who? The sack master, Jeff Duffy, drops down Cochran. It's 4th down.
Jeff Duffy, the man who served in the U.S. Air Force. He's been doing combat, search, and rescue for the last 12 years. And right there, he did some combat, and he searched and destroyed for the big sack.
A big time for that sack for Jeff Duffy. Just the 2nd today by Queen City for the reigning sack leader and the reigning defensive player of the year. Huge spot here. 4th and 13, and the Storm are going for it. Cochran going for it all. Has a man in the end zone. Touchdown, Florida. Jeff Como with his 2nd catch of the game, and they're an extra point away from a tie.
I'm going to steal one from my main man, T. Roy Gaines. Jeff Como says Como estás, and Florida's pending the extra point, just about to tie this ball game up. Can you believe it?
Absolutely cannot. He absolutely smokes Pharaoh Reigns, the number 1 corner here for Queen City, and a beautiful throw for Cochran. They go for it on 4th and 13, and Jeff Como comes up big. Welcome back to the team after a season away. He was great the 3 years prior to that for Florida, and a great re-addition for Mighty Max Paul. Ethan Sneed on for the PAT. 3:05 left in regulation. This is anything but a sure thing in this league. Good hold from Mike Hatt, and the kick from Sneed sails through. Folks, we are tied. 3:05 left in regulation. Jeff Como delivers. 10 apiece. We go down the stretch here in the 4th. This is the SFL on 11 Sports and for the fans. The Florida Storm have tried to feed J.W. Doyle all day, Mike and Proto. Let's flash back to last season. Doyle still is a fullback, and he rips off this 54-yard touchdown run against Baltimore, one of the best touchdown runs by a fullback that we saw all season. Last season, we know you like fullbacks. Doyle was dominant the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, hashtag the fullback game. That was week 11. Doyle ripped off a 55-yard fourth quarter TD run to seal the deal. As I mentioned, that was his best game of the season. Florida is trying to produce a running game this year and become a more balanced offense. But Jeff Como and Ron Cochran said, the heck with the running game. We're going to throw it deep to the end zone. And that's exactly what they did to tie up this ball game. JW, it might be JW Doyle, but for today, he wants it to be just win.
And they're doing their best to get back into this game. A 10-0 Florida run capped off by that touchdown to Jeff Como, 28 yards out. And we just loved what Cam Irvine said in the moment last year in that game against Baltimore. That stiff arm, that last shoulder shrug by Doyle en route to the end zone. Doyle says goodbye to McFly, and then he ended up in the end zone for the 6, and Florida ended up winning that game. But now they got to hold on to this tie, if you will, as Chris Curtis makes the catch and picks up 11 through the air.
Plenty of time left on the clock, coming down to 2.5 minutes. Queen City's been steady all day long, but this Florida defense, give them credit. They've allowed their team to battle back. That's what's given them an opportunity to get this one tied up. Let's see if Caswell and crew can come back and take the lead once again.
Goes Caswell deep down the right seam, and he's got James Matthew Jr. once again. Another big play for the tight end. The day of the TE continues.
James Matthew Jr. having a heck of a day. He's up to 7 receptions, and that ball gets him up close to midfield. Queen City's on the move. They're in enemy territory.
My opinion, Mike, no need for Queen City to rush things with all 3 timeouts and now north of the 2-minute warning. But if you're just joining us, remember the Corsairs playing without Jet Zero, who left with an injury in the third quarter. So now their backup, Travis Dulworth, is the ball carrier, and he picks up 2 up the middle. There by Eric Hammer, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Sorry to cut you off, Mike. It's only 2 minutes left in regulation. We've got another good one here in the SFL. You're watching it live on 11 Sports and For the Fans. We'll be right back. Two minutes to go in sunny South Florida, week 1 of season 15 of the Simulation Football League, and we've got a good one. 2 teams with championship pedigree trying to get on the inside track towards being a title contender here in season 15. Alongside Mike and Proto and our statisticians with Cam Irvine, I'm Tim Hackett. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. We've got another good one here in the SFL. 2nd down and 8. A.J. Caswell will swing it over to the backup, Travis Dulworth. He's wrenched down inbounds. Another good open field tackle by Evan Carroll, the quarterback. He's been great today.
Yeah, Evan Carroll has been outstanding today. Makes a big-time tackle. Brings up 3rd and 5. This is going to be a big play for both teams.
Perfect time to bring up the Who You Got once again. 55.5% of our Discord community favored Florida in this game. The closest poll out of all of the games in the SFL community this week. It's lived up to the billing. Caswell has a man down the right side. Pass is caught. Christopher Ochoa, the rookie, with his 2nd grab. That moves the chains.
Only his 2nd grab of the game, but the rookie comes up with a big catch to keep this drive alive.
Ironically, Mike, those are the types of routes that Ochoa dominated on in the minor leagues, albeit as the number 2 wide receiver, usually as the guy out wide to the right. Those intermediate slots, post routes, whatever you want to say, he was very good at those. Only 1 touchdown in the minor league, but he had his moments. 90 seconds left in regulation, all tied at 10 apiece. Dulworth up the middle, short gain, and Florida will use its second timeout.
Minute 26 left on the clock. Florida knows that Queen City's in field goal range. They're going to try and preserve as much time as they can.
Tolmaiello on the stop that time. The Venetian stops Dulworth for a gain of just 1. Second down and 9 from the 22. Queen City very much in field goal range for James Troll, who was fantastic last season. The league leader in field goals made. Second and 9 now from the 22. 1:26 left in regulation. Caswell has all day. Has a man now on the near sideline. Pass is caught. Inside the 10-yard line goes James Matthew Jr. His huge day continues. First and goal coming up.
What a time to have a breakout game. James Matthews Jr. This guy has been amazing. He goes out 7 yards, cuts it to the outside. Caswell hits him with a perfect pass, and they're in business.
Even Eric Hammer could stop him before he picked up a couple of yards after catch as well. Now first and goal from the 8. Caswell has been successful through the air pretty much all game. It's been his hallmark in his SFL career, now in his 8th year. The veteran from Massachusetts with a chance to take the lead late. 80 seconds left in regulation and a 10-all tie. Caswell from the gun. Dulworth offset to his right. Caswell looking. Has a man. Corner of the end zone. It's caught. The veteran, Chris Curtis. And Queen City takes the lead late.
Mr. Reliable Chris Curtis comes up big time in a big situation. What an unbelievable drive by Queen City to answer back and take the lead.
A lot of time left on the clock, though, you could say, Mike, but Florida had to use all 3 of its timeouts to try to stop the bleeding here. But the mainstay, Chris Curtis, the number 2 wide receiver from a year ago, trying to make his mark now that Stephen Hacker is gone, and he gives Queen City the lead with 1:17 to go. Caswell to Curtis. It's a tale as old as time here for the Corsairs.
Excellent job
PAT is good from
by
Troll.
Queen City. They kept their composure. The veteran A.J. Caswell, he's been in these situations before, and what an unbelievable job to put Florida back on their heels.
6 years now, that make it 7 straight years that Caswell has been throwing those dimes to Chris Curtis after 5 scores a season ago. Curtis is the difference in this game. No timeouts for Florida. 3 games still left to go in week 1 here of the Simulation Football League. Coming up at the top of the hour, Arizona at Lone Star at 7 p.m. 6 Center with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson. You don't want to miss that one. And then 2 more games tomorrow. 7-6 Central rivalry night begins with the Battle of the Carolinas. The Skyhawks at the Predators with Colin Northrup and Ryan Caudill. And then at 9-8 Central, Vice Wars, installment number 6, Las Vegas at Denver with Chris Curtis and Gerald Giudice as we go along here in week 1 of season 15 of the SFL. Almost every game so far this week, Mike, has been close. This one is no exception. 27 total points, the over-under set at 44.5. But who cares about that right now? 1:11 left in regulation. Cochran over the middle has a man. It looks like Bush. Check that. It's actually Minson once again. He makes the catch, gain of 5.
Let's see what they have in their arsenal. They're going to need some quick strikes.
Going to need it fast, and that's not going to help. Cochran goes down once again, sacked for a loss of 4.
Big-time sack. He's under pressure.
From the 23, 50 seconds left. Cochran down the left seam into double coverage. It's tipped. It hits a couple of men and falls to the turf. Good coverage by Albert Begin. He was going to his veteran Optimus Klein, but the youngster and the second-year man Begin makes the play.
As Mike Daggs mentioned in the chat, Riverboat Ron Cochran, the clock ticks under a minute. He's going to have to start taking some chances and throwing it deep. Lucky that wasn't picked off. Number 2 by Begin.
Could have been picked off for sure. Now here comes the game. 4th down and 9 from the 23. Florida trailing by 7 at home in week 1. Cochran has time over the right seam this time. It's hauled in. First down and more. Another nice link up from Cochran. He finds Bush that time.
They got to move quick, Tim.
Cochran is the last man up to the line. He will come up and spike it. That's exactly what the doctor ordered, though, Mike. Stephen Bush has been great all day.
Great job by Cochran. He knows there's only 34 seconds left. He spikes the ball. He's going to give his team time to regroup. They're going to have to get aggressive.
Looking for the man from Birmingham pretty much all season last year, Ron Cochran, and Bush delivered time and time again. He delivers there on 4th and 9. Bush picks up a big gain to keep Florida alive. 34 seconds left in regulation. Queen City up 17-10 in week 1. Cochran in the shotgun with Doyle to his left. The southpaw, Cochran now over the middle looking for Como this time. Como jumps up and makes the catch somehow.
Excellent catch by Como. Queen City's in a dime package. 20 seconds left.
No timeouts for Florida. Gain of 8 on second down. Cochran now has a man over the left side of the field. It's hauled in once again. Still no timeouts. Is that Galliano? It might have been Minson, actually, 83, but either way, Florida moves the chains once again. Cochran hustles up to the line, and they'll spike it with 8.
Good job by Cochran. Florida doesn't have any timeouts left. He spikes it with 8 seconds. I think that, Tim, that might give him 2 shots. Maybe throw a quick one and get out of bounds, and then 1 play to the end zone for the tie.
But I was going to ask you, how many plays does Florida have left? How many lives do the Storm have? Maybe just 1. And so now they'll bring everybody out wide to the right. 8 seconds left, 7-point deficit for the Storm at home. Cochran alone in the shotgun with 4 men to the right. As time, the time runs out. Cochran goes down, sacked once again on a safety blitz by Albert Begin, and that's going to do it. Queen City goes down to South Florida, and the Corsairs win it in week 1. The final, Queen City 17, Florida 10.
Albert Begin puts an end to Florida's game 1 at home here in the eye, and what a big-time sack he just made to put the Queen City Corsairs at 1-0.
Perfectly said by you, Mike. Albert Begin was huge in that second half. Really good performance from both of these two teams. Great action, a lot of really good activity. Some misplays, some mistakes, a couple of wacky turnovers, the likes of which we have never seen before. But Albert Begin with that interception, 1 or 2 pass deflections, and the sack to seal the game. He's involved on this play too, wouldn't you know it? A big game for the second-year man from Rhode Island.
Unbelievable job by Albert Begin. As I always say, big-time players step up in big-time situations, and no better time to create a big-time situation sack for Albert Begin. He throws Cochran to the ground. That gives Queen City the win. And right now, Buffalo, New York is jumping for joy.
Mentioned that neither team was able to get a whole lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. By our count, that's the 3rd sack by Queen City, and it comes on the final play of the game. Sacks were not a big problem for the Florida offense a year ago, but they come through in a big time due to the Queen City defense. Speaking of big-time players making big-time plays, there's James Matthew Jr., the tight end, Mike Improda, out of nowhere with one of the best games of his career.
Well, when we talk about Player of the Game awards today, for me, it comes down to 2 people. It's either James Matthews Jr., the tight end, 8 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown, or maybe you can give it to A.J. Caswell, who had a nice day.
The final call, I think Matthews and Caswell are both 2 good candidates, and there you go. Mike Improda, you start off 1-0. A.J. Caswell is your Player of the Game here in week 1.
Absolutely. 308 yards, 2 TDs, over 102 QBR rating. Well deserved.
Mike Improda, your final thoughts as Queen City gets the victory here in week 1.
What a week to start season 15. To all the fans watching from coast to coast and around the world, thank you for allowing the SFL into your living rooms. Now allow the SFL into your dreams.
Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. For our producer Cam Irvine and my partner Mike Improda, and for all of our statisticians and for all of us here in the SFL, I've been Tim Hackett. We'll see you next time. Until then, so long. Coming up at the top of the hour, Arizona at Lone Star. We'll see you then.